Hello, hello. Good morning, everybody. What if the most powerful leadership decision you ever made wasn't what you said yes to, but what you said or learned to say no to without any guilt? Oh, wouldn't that be great? Even when you are more than capable of doing it. That, my friends, is the conversation that we're having today. So pull up a chair, Joy Squad. It's time. Let's dance. Let's dance. I'm your host, Sheryl Raphael Whitaker. It starts with Joy Live. The secret ingredient that's missing is joy in developing our leaders. I wrote the book. It's Women's History Month. I have a hot take on women's leadership. I'm just someone who has to work twice as hard to get half the credit.
My job is to make sure she's never hurt again.
That's perfectionism.
You can't lead from what you're hiding.
The leader you will be in 2029 is being built right now, not in the future. A trained leader has techniques. A transformed leader, they have self-trust. Stop performing the version of yourself that the world built. We are building a companion app. Tell me how cool this is. That's just the beginning. So today, we have a new Joy Shift cycle week after week, every Wednesday, 8:30 a.m. Squad, let's dance. Woo! Good morning, and whoa, go ahead, Asunta, for being the first one in the chat. Great topic today. No, no, no. I think that's actually a song. I think that's a song somewhere. Anyway, good morning, Joy Squad. Happy Wednesday. Happy March 11th. Happy episode 6. And for those of you who are tracking in the calendar, today's National Dream Day. And I am literally living my dream right now, spending every Wednesday morning with all of you. But I'm wondering if there's anyone out there besides me who is still on the daylight savings struggle bus. It's still getting me. I'm still having a hard time getting up in the morning. But today I was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed because I knew that I was going to spend time with you. And it is going to be 76 degrees in New Jersey today, which is weird, but amazing at the same time. So we're going to get it in. So today I've got a monologue for you. We're going to be talking. It's personal. I'm going to be telling you and sharing with you about the years I spent saying yes to everything I was capable of doing, and then figuring out the difference between capable and called. And we're going to talk about AI. AI is in flight. No kidding. But we're going to talk about whether or not you are on board. There are a lot of folks who are not on board. So we're going to talk about that. And I'm so excited because we have a guest who, I'm going to be honest with you, she is one of the most intellectually precise, personally honest, warmest, professionally fearless people I've ever met in my entire career. I'm so blessed that she's here with me today, and Zola is going to introduce her, and it's going to be awesome. We've got the Joy Shift, we've got homework for this week, and it's going to require you to look at things differently, which seems to be the case always with Joy Shift. And we're doing a really, really special shining a light on someone who lives this work out loud. So if you are watching live, thank you so much for being here. Tell us where you're from. Tell us where you're coming from. We're here every Wednesday at 8:30. Tell a friend. Thank you. I see. Ooh, shut up, Marissa. Hi, everybody out there in the chat. Let's go and say good morning. Hi, Beatrice and that.
You can't just start saying no to things you're good at. People rely on you.
Being good at something doesn't mean it belongs to you.
But if I stop being the go-to person, what is left? I disappear.
Or maybe you finally make room for the work you're actually called to do.
It sounds like a great way to get replaced, if you ask me.
Let's listen to Sheryl's story. It might just change your mind.
Beatrice, she's got a lot of stress, Beatrice, I'm telling you. Well, okay, so hi, I want to share something with you. So for a long, long time, longer than I care to admit, I said yes to everything. Every project, every ask, every, Sheryl, you'd be perfect for this. And I was. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I'm highly capable. I was perfect for those things. I was capable. I was prepared, and I delivered. And there were a lot of times, to be honest, when I would do those things, when I was inside, like dying inside, a little bit miserable. And I know it's hard to imagine sweet, smiley, happy-go-lucky Sheryl, but we're not talking about this like dramatic crying in my car, in the parking lot, miserable. It's really more like the quiet kind, right? So where you're really, really busy and you're really super successful getting things done, but every week you're getting further and further away from yourself. I remember one time sitting in a meeting, and I won't say where or when, but I was leading something that by every measure I was qualified to lead. And in the middle of presenting, I had this thought like, wow, Sheryl, you're good at this, but you're completely wrong for this. And then that thought really scared me because just like Beatrice, because Beatrice, you know, she's the voice in my head. If I wasn't the person who could do everything, then who was I? Who was I? So just a quick story. Earlier in my career, I went after a role. It was a learning and development role. Really, it was like organizational development and learning for a small organization. And that was my lane. That lit me up. So I was ready for this role. I was prepared, and I really, really wanted it. And they gave me the role, but when they called back, they said, Sheryl, we actually have something else we need you to do in addition to that. We need you for a senior leadership role in claims. I had done claims in the past. I was a claims leader before I went into learning and development, but it was a particular area that they wanted me to be responsible for, and I had absolutely very little to zero experience in it. And the stakes were really, really high. We were talking millions of dollars that me and my department were responsible for, and right, like no pressure, right? But I said yes. Of course I said yes, right? I took the leap. And then what happened next wasn't what I didn't expect. I had one of the best, absolute best leaders that I reported to of my entire career. I had an amazing team that taught me everything. And then as I was learning, they trusted me. They trusted my leadership. And we grew together and we figured it out together. And then some of those people that I worked with, Squad, they're still my closest friends to this day. And it was honestly, when I think back about it, I can actually get emotional because it was a really special time. But yet, 5 years into that role, I'm sitting in my office at my desk doing like data entry kind of stuff, like approvals and system updates, things that it was important and things that had to be approved at my level. You know how it goes. And I sat there and I held onto my head, looked up at that screen. I thought to myself, Sheryl, how'd you get here? Not like here in this company, but here in that chair doing that kind of work, it was so far away from me. Somewhere between saying yes to something that was really brave back then, 5 years later, I had drifted so far away from what I was actually called to do. And I didn't even notice it was happening because I don't know about you, but I realized as I've gotten older that life just goes by really, really fast. So 5 years later, I'm sitting here wondering, and I was actually there for another year. So there's a difference between being capable and being called. Capable is a list of things you can do. Called is a much shorter list of the things that are actually yours. And every time you say yes to something on the capable list that's not on the called list, you're stealing from yourself. You're actually, dare I say, you're leaking joy. And not in a dramatic way, but like 5 years later, how did I get here kind of way. And what took me the longest to understand is that the no I was so afraid to say to myself, it wasn't a door closing. It was really the most powerful yes I could have given myself. Hi, David. Hi from Miami. So, guys, that's what we're talking about today. That's what today is all about. It's the power of the strategic no. And as I mentioned in the opening, I have a guest coming on who's really inspired this whole conversation. And I have no doubt that she is going to blow your mind. But first, let's hear from the voices in my head. Because I know, Beatrice, I know you're there, love. What do you have to say about all of this?
Okay, I will say no to the grind. But if I am not doing the heavy lifting, who is? Things still have to get done.
That is the brilliant part. You don't have to be the one lifting it anymore.
Wait, we're handing it to an AI? If a machine does the work, what exactly is my value?
Your vision and your humanity, the exact things a machine can't replicate.
Let's see how Sheryl actually partners with this robot without losing her mind.
Oh my God, I may actually still lose my mind, but it's time for Here's the Thing. Here's the thing. Oh, David, you're tuning in from New York. Welcome from New York. Welcome from New York. All right, so here's the thing. We're talking about the strategic no, but I've got to say, squad, all right, this is one thing that I'm going to just try to plead a case that you just cannot, in my opinion, say no to, and that is AI. The more time that we spend with AI, the more time actually I spend with it, the more I realize that there are actually two conversations happening at the same time. One is loud and it's everywhere. AI is going to take all our jobs. AI is going to take all our jobs. It's happening. Everyone is talking about it. I see it in every comment thread on LinkedIn and on Instagram and every other social media platform. But there's another side, but it's much quieter, I think. AI is already changing how we work. It's been here way before 2022. And if you lean into it, instead of running from it, your work and your impact could actually get bigger. So I'm not new to AI. I am super duper comfortable with it. Look at this show, right? Look at this show. We've got our AI friends and AI cast members who are here. I'm super comfy with it. I've been using it for a while. I mean, I hopped right on when Gen AI first came out, brainstorming, writing, strategizing. I love all of it. But there's this thing that I'm playing with now. Keith, you heard me talk about Keith, right? My mentor and the producer of the show. He introduced me a couple of weeks ago to Perplexity Computer. And if you haven't played around with Perplexity, I mean, this is what's cool, right? The AI game keeps changing every single solitary day. Hi, Jonathan. Good morning, my friend. Good morning. Good morning, coach. So Perplexity Computer, I name everything. So I call her Lexi. She is a whole other beast. So this isn't a question, ask a question, get an answer type of thing. This is give an agent a real job, go to bed, wake up to a whole project that move forward while you're sleeping. And that's getting my attention. Because on one hand, I'm thinking, wow, this is so freaking cool. This is wild. And on the other hand, I'm thinking, oh, this is the part that everyone is so afraid of. Because if an AI agent can do a whole chunk of work on its own while we're sleeping, what does that mean for our jobs? What does that mean for our business, our teams, our sense of security? I gotta tell you, I don't think AI will take all the jobs is 100% true. But I do think how we work, who does what, and what counts as your job, that's going to change in a very big way. Some parts of what we do today are going to be completely taken over. Yes, guys, it's going to happen, especially the repetitive, rules-based, grindy parts. Other parts are going to evolve into something more human. That's what I'm really excited about. More relational, more creative than we've ever been. And the bridge between those two realities, that's us. We get to choose how we engage with this. So for me, Lexi, she's become a mirror. She keeps me showing up and she shows me where my imagination is small. Because the way these agents work, if you haven't heard, if you can dream it, think it, describe it, talk to it like a team member, Lexi will say, yes, I can do that, or no, I can't do that yet. That word yet might be the most important word in this whole conversation, because most of us were trained to think of technology as a tool that lives inside the edges of what we already know how to do. Send an email faster, get out a spreadsheet, make it prettier, automate something I've already built. This new wave of AI agents is asking a totally different question. If you weren't limited by your own time, your own energy, your own two hands, what would you try? What would you build? What would you delegate to someone or something that never gets tired? Remember that 70% rule we talked about a few weeks ago? What would you delegate so you can spend time being more human? Wow. That's a different frame, guys. That's more than just the robots are coming. And so I want to speak directly to that fear because it's real. When people say that AI is coming to take our jobs, what I hear underneath that is like what Beatrice was saying. What am I going to do? I don't want to become obsolete. I don't want to wake up one day and realize I'm behind, right? And I get that. I really do. I really get it. But here's the thing. Being left behind doesn't happen because the technology is scary. It happens when we decide that fear, this is going to sound familiar if you read my book, fear gets the final say. So I'm just saying, don't be afraid. Don't be scared of AI. Learn from it and with it. That's where I'm sitting. Not because I'm fearless. I am. We all have fear. We're human. But because I've already seen what happens when I partner with it, instead of just poking around with it from a distance. It's moving too fast. The truth is, tools like Lexi, they are incredible listeners. They partner with us. They figure out how you work. They build context. They become your booking agent, your campaign manager, your landing page designer, your research assistant. But they can't become any of that if we only ask them to proofread a paragraph. So this week, I'm asking you, instead of doom scrolling about AI taking jobs, I want you to invite yourself into a different set of questions. And I think the team M&M is going to flash these on. So these are going to go fast. Come back to the replay and work it out. 1, where in your work are you still doing things manually that an AI agent could at least attempt for you if you gave it a clear, courageous brief? Where? I had a conversation with Keith about this week. All right. He told me a few things about myself, so I'm doing that right now. Question 2, what is one part of your job that drains you, but doesn't actually require your soul, your presence, or your unique story? What would it look like to experiment with handing just that piece to an agent? And the third question, if you stop asking, is AI going to take my job, and start asking, how can AI change my job so I can spend more time doing what only I can do? What possibilities open up? Hey, good morning, Matt. Good morning, Kindness Rising. Good to see you. So you don't have to love all of it. You don't have to understand every model, every update, every headline. You certainly don't have to pretend you're not nervous, but you also don't have to sit in the dark, afraid of what's happening behind the clouds or the cloud. Because just like that blood moon we talked about last week that kept turning red, whether we could see it or not, this transformation is already so underway. So the question isn't, will AI change work? It's, who will I become as work changes? That, Joy Squad, that is the thing. So that was a lot to say, but guys, I really wanted to get that out there because there's so much happening in our world right now. And I'm trying my best, turning 60 in about a month, to catch up and can keep up. So I just want to do the same for you guys. And yeah, what are we saying out here in the chat? Yeah, Matt, I agree with you. We love the possibilities. That's the key. Courage is being afraid. Oh my God, that's on my laptop. I have a sticker that says, do it anyway, girl. Right? Even if you're afraid, you still do it. Okay, so before we move on, I just have a really quick thought for you. I want to dive into something, totally changing gears for a second. This is really exciting. Today marks 2 years of mornings in the lab with Keith, John, and friends. And if you don't know the story, that's how I started. That's how I came to be here with you in the morning, because I was invited by Keith to be a guest on his show. And I fell in love with Keith and John, and the rest, as they say, is history. So if you haven't watched it, first of all, why not? It's such a cool vibe. It's everything you'd expect from a live show, and then a whole lot that you wouldn't. And it has definitely become one of my favorite parts of the morning. It is routine. They are consistent. They are there every single solitary day. So Keith, John, 2 years of showing up live Monday through Friday at 8 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. That is consistency with a capital C. And it shows because that show is getting better every single day. So happy anniversary, my friends. So proud to be a part of what this network is building. And Joy Squad, again, check them out. morningsinthelab.live. Just maybe not with your kids because it's X-rated and R-rated and it's so much fun. So anyway, that's it. That's my quick thought. Happy anniversary, guys. All right. So now I am so excited. This is what I've been waiting for weeks and weeks and weeks. Joy Squad, I'm excited about this conversation we're about to have with Janice Robinson Burns. And I was teasing her and I tell her, I'm always saying her whole name because it's just a strong name. But anyway, she has spent over 30 years in the world of work, talent, strategy, HR, education, entrepreneurship. And right now she's helping enterprise organizations completely rethink how they build and develop their workforce. We're talking about large-scale transformation that she's involved with. And it's the kind that actually moves the needle. So you know that excites me because I'm all about transformation. But what stopped me was when she agreed to be on the show. And she said, this is coming direct quote, "Every misaligned yes steals joy, energy, and clarity from the work you're actually meant to do." So let's sit with that for a second. This is not a self-care quote. This is a business strategy. And it comes from someone who has watched up close for decades what it costs when leaders confuse being capable of something with being called to it. And so what I love is that Janice herself, she's navigating that right now and she's in it. And that's the conversation we're going to have. So Janice, welcome to the show. I'm so happy you're here. Let's introduce her.
A New York public school classroom became her first real training ground. Teaching kids sparked a lifelong passion for helping others grow. Enabling human potential quickly turned into the heartbeat of her life's work. That deep desire eventually carried her far beyond any traditional classroom. Over 30 years brought an astounding 16 different professional roles. Unlearning old habits became a requirement for every single massive career pivot. 16 roles sounds like an awful lot of exposure. Are we sure this woman was actually ready for that many massive pivots? That kind of bold movement is exactly what makes Janice so powerful. Fear of the unknown never stopped her from making the leap. Building a 27-year legacy at Mastercard wasn't easy. Managing products eventually evolved into leading global corporate learning for the entire enterprise. Today finds her serving as a managing partner at Skill Collective. Championing human skills over paper credentials is how they're redesigning work.
Now I'm hearing about her turning down work she can easily do. That's kind of badass, if I must say so myself.
Janice, we're so thrilled to welcome you to It Starts With Joy.
Yay! Welcome, Janice.
Thank you. And I have to tell you, thank you for allowing Beatrice, my girl, to be in that video. You know I love Beatrice.
I know. I said thank you, Melissa, for that, because I said to her, I was like, oh, Janice is the one who would reach out to me, but you haven't talked about Beatrice in a minute. She needs to get her out there. And so I have to thank you for that. So I knew we had to put her in the intro. So I'm happy you enjoyed it. Welcome to the stage, Janice. How are you doing, my friend?
I am doing great. And I have to say, I am so incredibly proud of you, Sheryl. The fact that you have this show, you've written a book, you're a bestseller, you have this show. I am so proud of you, and a little envious because my dream has always been to be a talk show host. And so I have to tell you, just being on your talk show is part of fulfilling my dream. So thank you for allowing me here.
Oh, wow. Okay, you're going to get me all teared up. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. And I have to thank you because when I was starting off on this journey and not really quite sure what I was going to do with my career, go back into the workforce or do a thing, you were so gracious in spending time with me when we didn't really know each other. And then once we met, you were kind of stuck with me. And so I just appreciate you being here. So thank you. Thank you so much. What I like to do usually, I like to do a hot take with my guests. So if you wouldn't mind, we're going to watch a video, Janice, and we're going to react to it, and then we're going to get into you.
Okay.
Okay,
Sounds
good. Thank you. All right, Eminem, let's watch this video about quiet cracking.
Quiet quitting your corporate job is out. Quiet cracking is in. Quiet cracking is silently falling apart at work. So these people show up and do their job, but they're just struggling in silence and slowly dying on the inside. And it's not just about feelings and well-being. It's actually costing the global economy $435 billion in loss of productivity. That's the highest since COVID. So why are employees feeling this way? I mean, if you haven't actually noticed, the economy is kind of shit right now and people are literally stuck in their crappy jobs. Hiring has slowed down tremendously and people aren't getting a pay bump anymore when they job hop. So people are literally just stuck because they don't want to take a pay cut by going somewhere else. And they're stuck in jobs without any growth because companies are cracking down on performance reviews, they're tightening up their budgets, and forcing RTO policies. Most employees who are quiet cracking are still performing well, so it's kind of hard to see the signs, but they might be having more headaches, more fatigue, and overall just loss of hope. Have you quiet cracked before?
I love it.
First of all, how much coffee did she have? That's what I want to know. What do you think? You said you love it. Talk to me. What's the first thing that comes to mind for you, Janice?
It resonated with me, Sheryl, and I don't think we've ever had this conversation, but there was definitely a period of time before I decided to leave corporate America, before I decided to leave my 27-year career at Mastercard, where I was quietly cracking. And it wasn't because I didn't have a great job. I had a great job. I had a great team, but I was miserable. And I was miserable because I wasn't doing what fulfilled me anymore. And I wasn't in an environment at that time that inspired me. And
Right.
literally, I remember going to work every day, and before getting out of the car, like spending 15 minutes listening to gospel music to prepare myself to go into the office because I just felt drained. And I didn't know this term, quiet cracking, but yeah, that just resonated with me. So thanks for sharing, because you wonder how many people are actually experiencing that. And it's, oftentimes you think, and a job is about money, a job is about status, a job is about, accomplishments. When I was going through that, I had all of that. I had a great title, I was making great money, I was well known, well respected.
Mm-hmm.
Joy is not external.
Yes, thank you.
Joy is internal. And when you're not doing what you're really called to do, and you're not in the environment that you need at that moment, then it can steal your joy, or you allow your joy to be stolen, because no one actually can steal your joy. You can allow your joy to be stolen. You can give your joy away. And that's what I think I was doing. I was giving my joy away until I decided, and this goes back to kind of that strategic no, that no, I'm not going to do this anymore. I don't have to do this anymore. Even if I haven't figured out what it is exactly I am going to do, what I do know is this isn't what I'm meant to do anymore. And sometimes you have to take a leap of faith. You have to take a risk when your heart tells you there's something bigger and better for you, so that you can take your joy back. And that's what I did. But that clip really resonated.
Wow. I mean, there's so much in what you just said that I want to get into, because I want to understand and know, like, how do you make that decision? How do you get, so this quiet cracking, I like the term because of the word quiet. Right. It's like that story I told before, where it's like I sat at my desk one day and realized, like, oh, shit, like, how did I get here? And 5 years had gone by. So I was quietly cracking all along. And then you look down and you see like your whole body is completely split open. So what was that experience like for you when you had everything, but it still felt like you had to listen to gospel music, in the car in the morning before you can even go inside and put that brave face on?
Yeah, it's interesting because at first you don't understand why you are in this state. Again, everything that you're told you're supposed to have at a certain point in your career, you have it, but you're not happy. You're not content. And there's a part of you that feels guilty because you're like, how many people would dream to have what I have right now?
Yeah, I understand that.
Right.
Hmm.
And so why am I just like, something's not right. And for me, the only thing I could turn to was my spirituality. I do not consider myself to be a religious person, but I'm a very spiritual person, and gospel music really touches me. And it originally wasn't a decision. It was just something that became a habit. I would get to work, I would turn on my gospel music. I thought it was almost like a spiritual practice. And then I realized I need this because I can't actually go into this building unless I do this.
Right.
And at a certain point, I had to ask myself, why? Why is this so difficult for me? And that's when I came to the conclusion, because I'm meant to do something else. I am meant to do something that is more significant. And I don't know what that is. And I think that was the scary part. I don't know what that thing is, but I know it's not this anymore.
Not this. Yeah.
And, I made a decision to leave my job. I didn't have a job when I decided to leave my job, but I knew I needed to do something else. And literally, probably within 2 weeks, I actually did have another opportunity that I took, but it took me on a path where I was able to then really start expressing myself in a way that I never was able to express myself, and share my thoughts, my opinions, but also recognize that all of the experience and knowledge that I had built over 27 years,
Right.
I now could share with others in a meaningful way. And I had something to say.
Whew. Janice, I'm just checking. I'm getting chills right now, and I'm not alone because Ann out there in LinkedIn world. Hi, Ann. She said, I feel so validated and understood this morning.
Oh, that makes me feel good.
No, I'm literally like rubbing my arms right now because I have chills, because what you're sharing, what you're talking about, so many people feel. What was it like for you to wake up one morning and say, I have made a decision. I am leaving this role that is a coveted role. Coveted, right? Mastercard, right? Coveted. And going to do something different. What was it like? What did your family say? Your beautiful family, your friends, your colleagues. What was that experience like for you?
Well, what's so interesting is my friends, my close friends, and my family said it's about time.
Ah, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
They said it's about time. They felt like, and they had been quietly, well, not quietly, they had been telling me for probably 2 years, Janice, you have so much more to offer. Like, you should be doing something else. And in my head, I'm like, are you crazy? Like, I have this coveted job. I'm making really, really good money.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to say I could do this job with my eyes closed, because I couldn't, but I was very comfortable, right?
Right.
In the role that I was in. I was well respected within Mastercard. I had a great network. As I said, I had a great team. But the people who were really close to me, they saw that I wasn't fulfilled. I think before I saw it.
Isn't that amazing?
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? And my husband was so supportive, and my kids who were very young adults at the time were like, Mommy, I am so happy for you.
I love it. I love it. So that capable versus called? Did it show up again for you throughout the trajectory of your career? Where did it show up again?
Yeah, it showed up again when I then decided that I was going to leave another coveted job, the job that I went to after I left Mastercard at degree. And again, I just felt like I need to do something on my own. I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to start writing a book. And again, I have more to say. And I think that's the thing that surprised me is I honestly never thought that I had anything to say that people wanted to hear.
I understand.
And as I started just writing, posting, and people started responding, and it made me recognize, I actually have a lot to say.
Yes, you do.
And people actually value what I have. And, some of that, I don't think I would have been able to say it earlier in my career because I released a post on LinkedIn today about wisdom versus intelligence. And intelligence is easy to recognize. We all know when we're dealing with someone who's highly intelligent, but just because you're intelligent doesn't mean that you're wise. And intelligence oftentimes is about your capability, but wisdom is about knowing how to use that capability.
Right.
Knowing how to, having discernment, right?
Yes.
And wisdom only comes with time. It only comes with experience. It comes with battle scars. But wisdom, I think, actually is more important than intelligence. And so what I have to say today, a lot of that is based on my life experience, my battle scars, and my insights that have come over time.
Nice.
Yeah.
And how's that wisdom treating you? How is life, Janice?
Life is good. Life is really, really good. And I am extremely happy. I feel joy every day. And that doesn't mean that every day is a perfect day because
No, that's not what it's about.
But what I truly have recognized is no one can steal my joy. No one can take my joy. I am in complete control of my joy. And I'm not handing over the keys to that to anyone. And it makes life really, really good. And I truly feel like today I'm living in my purpose. I'm living in my calling. And the types of people who are now coming into my life are different people, and they're filling me with energy. And, you kind of see that joy multiplying. And so, as I said at the beginning of this session with you, it gives me joy to see you in your moment. And to feel like maybe I had just a little wee bit piece of that.
Oh, a lot big piece of that.
It just gives me joy. The other thing that gives me joy, okay, this has absolutely nothing to do with what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
So it doesn't do with joy. Is the conversation that we had talking about joy. And you said the F word brings me joy. And I...
It does.
And it brings me joy too.
I think when I did that post, the F word brings me joy. I think you were like one of the very first to comment on it. You're like, bring it on. Hey, it's real.
It is real. It is real. Again, there's something that comes with age and wisdom and letting the fear kind of goes away.
Yes, it does.
Because recognizing, and this started happening after I turned 50. It's a huge accomplishment once you have actually lived for half of a century. Just think about it. A half of a century. Wow. Like at that point, who can tell you can tell you shit about what you're going to do.
You really, at some point in time, you really just don't care anymore. What
You
people
don't care.
say, right?
You don't care because it's not important what other people think about who you are and how you show up. You know,
Yeah.
you've survived half of a century. Okay. That's a lot.
Yes, it's true. It's true. I'm finding that too as I'm getting older, that especially as a recovering people pleaser, Janice, I mean, I cared a whole lot about what other people said, how they felt, and that kind of thing. And it's a muscle that I'm still strengthening, honestly, every single day. But woo, it gets easier and easier the older I get to really care less.
Yeah.
Care less about others and what they have to say and care more about what I have to say about my life and the things that I'm doing and how I feel.
Yeah. Care more about what's making you happy, what's bringing you fulfillment, and recognizing the people you actually should care about what their opinions are. And there are very few people, right? They're the people who love and care for you. The people you know who only want the best for you and don't mean to bring you any form of harm. Those are the people that's worth listening to. It doesn't mean that you're going to always agree with them, but at least they deserve the opportunity to be heard. But most of the people who are out here, you know, when they have something to say, especially when it is critical about you, they haven't earned that opportunity to be heard. And they definitely haven't earned the right to try to, in any way, impact your joy.
Yep, I couldn't agree with you more. My friend, I can sit here and talk to you all damn day long. I know I'll be calling you later. Any words? We talked about wisdom before we say goodbye and good morning. Any last words that you'd like to share with folks about joy, about capable versus called, about doing it without guilt, anything at all that you want to share? Because the comments are blowing up. Everyone's really, really loving this conversation, which is great.
Yeah, the only thing I have to say, and you've heard me say this before, we've grown up, especially those who have any kind of relationship with the Bible, with this whole notion of joy comes in the morning. Do not wait for joy to come in the morning. Joy does not have to wait for the morning. Joy can come whenever you decide that you need it, want it, and deserve it. And that's all the time. And so don't wait for joy to find you. You create your own joy.
Thank you, Janice.
You're welcome.
Hey, you're going to have to come back. I'm sorry.
You know, I would love to come back.
You're going to have to come back. Where can everyone find you to get more of your wisdom? Because you do have a lot to say, and it's all extremely helpful and powerful.
Thank you. Probably the best place to find me is on LinkedIn. If you want to hear what I have to say, sometimes it's insightful and sometimes it's complete silliness, but it's always authentically me. And if professionally you're looking for me, you can find me at Lightcast at janice.burns@lightcast.io.
Thank you, Janice. Thank you so much for being here. I love you, my friend. I appreciate you. And we will talk later. And okay. Thank you.
Love you, my friend.
Love you. Wow. Janice Robinson Burns. I told you she's a powerhouse. I knew it was going to be an absolutely amazing conversation. So thank you for that. It is time for us to shift though. So Beatrice, Atlas, say hello, my friends. Thank you, Janice.
Janice is adorable, but if I actually audit my calendar, we both know I'm carrying 90% of the load around here.
You're already exhausted carrying it, or writing it down just shows you the actual math.
Oh, the math will prove I'm highly capable, but handing over control? That sounds like a fast track to irrelevance.
Then you finally locate the joy leak and you make room for what you're called to do.
Fine, I'll grab a pen. But if this joy ship blows up in my face, I'm blaming both of you.
Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do about Beatrice. She is loud and proud, that girl. Mm-mm-mm. All right. Woo, that was just absolutely amazing, amazing, amazing guest with Janice Robinson Burns. But Joy Squad, it's time to shift. It's time for our homework. We are in week 2 of our current cycle, which is Joy Embrace, which means we are doing the deep work of acceptance. Last week, you named the stories you've been leading from that were never yours to begin with. So this week, we're going one level deeper, as we always do, and we're going to audit the commitments. Janice said something that I want to anchor in. Remember, every misaligned yes steals joy. Every misaligned yes steals joy, energy, and clarity from the work you're actually meant to do. So if you can grab a pen and paper, or just remember this, I'll come back to the replay later. We have a few steps to your homework for this week. So 15 minutes, do this today. Take a piece of paper, and I want you to draw 2 columns. On one side, label on the left, things I'm capable of doing. That's on the left, things I'm capable of doing. And on the right, things I'm called to do. And I want you to take a look at your calendar from the last 2 weeks and put every commitment into one of those 2 columns. You can't put them in both, just force the choice and put them into one. Then Atlas talked about the Joy Leak. I call this the Joy Leak calculation. 5 minutes, do this tomorrow. For some of you who might not be able to wait, so you can do it today. For every item in the capable column, ask, what is this costing me? Time, energy, creativity, capacity. Write it down, write the cost down, be honest, don't minimize it. Again, this is just for you, so you don't have to lie to yourself. And then the third step is I want you to name one strategic no. Do this by Friday, all right, if you're watching this today. But if not, if you're watching the replay, just map it out for 3 days. Pick one thing on that list that you have the power to say no to, delegate, renegotiate, or step back from. Write this sentence. I am saying a strategic no to bum, bum, bum. And this isn't because you can't do it. It's because it belongs to someone else or can, or it's a different season of work for you. Saying no to this is saying yes to that. Okay, so that's your joy shift for today. That is the misaligned yes audit, where you're figuring out 2 columns and figuring out what that joy leak calculation is. One strategic no. Fear lost and joy is on the way when you do this. Okay. Hope you can do that. And I'm going to be asking and checking on you guys out there that I see in the chat. Oh, I'm seeing you guys. Yay. Thank you so much, Veronica. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Ingrid. My own amazing. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. So we're going to do a transition with Beatrice and Atlas. Let's keep going.
Auditing your calendar isn't just about time management. It's about deciding what your life is actually for. It's easy to get lost in the capable list, but the clock is always ticking, whether we ignore it or not.
Because true leadership isn't about doing everything. It's about living the days you have with absolute intention.
There's someone Sheryl wants you to meet today who embodies exactly that. Let's shine a light, love.
I just love Atlas. He's been very, very reflective and introspective today. And I just absolutely love that. Okay, Joy Squad. It's time to shine a light. Every week, as you guys know, and I'm really, really loving this, we get a chance to stop and shine a light on someone who deserves to be seen. And this week, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different because the person who's going to be shining the light isn't me. But first, let me tell you what we're talking about here today and about the man that we're here to celebrate. Chris Syme has spent 30 years in advertising, building brands, developing leaders, and doing the kind of people work that most companies don't even know they need. He spent the last few years coaching and guiding others through clarity, confidence, and growth. And outside of the office, he hosts an incredible podcast called Dying Out Loud, where he shares real conversations about gratitude, legacy, and what it actually means to keep going when life gets heavy. And we all know life can be very heavy, very, very heavy. So I wanted to actually bring on someone who, when you have a great story, it deserves to be told by someone who knows the person. And I could tell you more about Chris, but I know it's going to come out in his story. So I'm thrilled to hand this moment over to Chris's dear friend, my friend, Jamie O'Brien, to shine the light the way only a true friend can. So Jamie, I hope that you are here. And the floor
I'm here.
Hi, Jamie.
Good morning.
Good morning, my friend. Jamie's from Brazil. He's coming from, well, you're not from Brazil. You live in Brazil.
True. From Kansas City, but yes.
So Jamie, the floor is all yours to shine a light on Chris.
Well, thank you, my dear. I really appreciate you inviting me to be able to shine a light on Chris. He's a very special person to me. And just to tell you a little bit about how he and I know one another, Chris and I go back 25 years. He was my boss at a time when I didn't have a vocabulary for what a great boss looked like. I couldn't articulate that. I just knew most of what I'd seen up to that point wasn't it. And he knew being a good leader meant being a person first. And it's about showing real care for the people that you have on your team. He made sure that all of us could do our best work because we weren't spending our energy trying to survive the environment. And he knew that building people is how you really achieve great outcomes. He recognized my abilities. He gave me confidence. He mentored me and developed skills he knew I needed. And he opened me up to possibilities and gave me opportunities. And after that first job where we worked together, he didn't just move on and disappear. He recruited me into 2 other organizations after that. And if you've ever been recruited by a leader, you know that means that they respect you and they trust you. And that was valuable to me. And through all of those experiences, we became really good friends. And our friendship just held throughout all these years. And now, as you already mentioned, we actually find ourselves running around again in the same arena doing organizational development and leadership coaching work. And we now get to trade notes and we get to collaborate as peers because it's fun to know that we can do that now because he was one of the earliest examples of what I had of what leadership looks like when it's done with integrity and care. And so here's where Chris becomes more than just a great leader I work for, if that wasn't enough. Chris has been living through something that would just flatten most people. Several years ago, he was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. And what he's done with that has been extraordinary. He turned it into purpose. He took his lived reality, the treatment schedules, the uncertainty, the pain, the hard days, all of that stuff, and he turned it into fuel so he could advocate, so he could educate and push for conversations that need to be had around cancer and care. And in that spirit, he also, along with his husband, Anthony, as you mentioned, started their Dying Out Loud podcast. And it's a part of his legacy. It started during his chemo treatments. He actually sat down during those treatments and wrote more than 70 letters to the people who mattered the most to him. And these were meant to be, last messages, the words most of us say for moments that just come too late. And he decided instead he wasn't going to leave those words to be delivered after he was gone. He was going to say them to people now, face to face and out loud. And I think that's what really a great lesson in leadership, the deepest level of leadership, the kind that teaches the rest of us how to live. And he's taken that experience and he's made it a light for other people through his advocacy, through his coaching, through the platform that he has to tell the truth. And so what I want to say to my friend Chris is thank you for being the first boss who showed me leadership doesn't have to be cold to be competent, and for pushing me, for teaching me and trusting me. And thank you for staying in my life and being my friend. And also, thank you for showing people what it looks like to choose purpose and love and honesty when life is trying to shrink your options. My love for you, Chris, will never fade because of who you are, how you've shown up for me. And I do encourage everybody to check out his podcast. It's dyingoutloudpodcast.com, or you can find it on all the, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you name it. It's available everywhere. And if you already know Chris, you know what he teaches in his podcast and all of his advocacy. It's say the thing. Tell the people you love what you've been postponing. Say it now and say it out loud. Chris is a model for each of us, and I'm so lucky to have him as a friend. So, Sheryl, Thank you again for inviting me to do this so I could shine a light on my great friend, Chris. I really appreciate it.
Oh, Jamie, thank you for being here. And you were like, okay, if I can get through this without getting emotional. I was like, you got this, Jamie. And I'm sitting here like in tears.
Not easy. It's not easy.
Not easy. You're a badass, my friend. You were really
Well, thank you.
amazing.
So are you, though.
Thank you. And the baddest ass is Chris. Doing his thing. He's probably gonna, kill you when he sees this, because this is a surprise.
This is what I'm willing to take a bullet for, so it's worth it.
It is worth it. Thank you so much, Jamie, for being here. And Jamie and some friends are going to be back in a few weeks, right? To be a guest.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
in April. Yep.
I really appreciate it, Jamie. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sheryl.
Thank you. Whew. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening, and I hope that light that was that Jamie so beautifully decided to spotlight Chris. I hope that resonated deeply with you as it did with me. There's so many different things that bring me joy, and one of them is this part of the show. And so thank you again, Jamie, for doing that. So squad, we've been at it today. Oh, let's see who else came in there. Hi, Kristen. Leadership doesn't have to be cold to be competent. Yeah, I know, that was beautiful. That needs to be on a t-shirt for sure. Thanks for being here, Kristen. All right, so we talked a lot today. We've been through it. We talked about the strategic no, what it really, really means. The conversation with Janice was just like really super inspiring. And I thank everybody for really being, so engaged in the chat today, because it shows that, what we're doing here with It Starts With Joy Live is starting to make a difference, and it's getting you in your heart first before your head. And that's what this is. This is what this is all about. So thank you, Janice, for being here, for your time and your honesty and your willingness to sit with us and have the conversation today, as we're all becoming. Beatrice and Alice, you guys really brought it today. So you're always keeping it real. Zola for doing that introduction perfectly. Jamie for the beautiful light that you shed on Chris. Joy Squad, thank you again for showing up every Wednesday morning at 8:30. And to my amazing production team, every single solitary one of you, big hearts and hugs to you all, because this is just getting really, really good. It's really good. Next week is episode 7, or 007 as we call it here backstage, and we're moving into week 3 of the Joy Shift method, where we are talking about being committed, and that is about accountability. And I'm bringing another powerhouse to the stage, Derek Zahn. He's the Chief Claims Officer for Pure Insurance. He's a powerhouse leader and an incredible person, and so you're going to want to be here. You don't want to miss it. As always, friends, squad, from the bottom of my joy-filled, fully aligned, still learning to say no heart, fear lost, joy won. Again, thank you for being here. I love you. Let's keep dancing. Mwah.
Finally, the lights are down. Do you know how hard it is for me to let her actually say no?
I do, but look how much lighter the room feels when you stop carrying everyone else's expectations, love.
It does feel spacious, but next week is nice versus kind. You know I'm gonna need extra armor for that.
No armor needed, just the truth. We will be perfectly ready for it.
Fear lost, joy won.
Turn off the stage lights, Atlas. We are officially off the clock.
See ya, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.
It starts with joy. It starts with fire. Feel the